Today I want to share 10 things that I do not share on social media or really anywhere publicly online, both for safety reasons and for peace of mind. Now, I'm not someone who is overly cautious. I really do believe the best in people, and I think that good things are coming, and I manifest goodness and greatness and abundance and all that great stuff. But I know the world isn't sunshine and rainbows, and there are some things that we can be careful about so that we can protect ourselves. And there are some things that just don't need to be online anyway, not just for safety, but for also peace of mind and also as you're going through things. So I'm going to share with you these 10 things. And if this was helpful for you, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe because that helps more viewers see my channel and also these tips that I'm providing you. So let's move on with the 10 things you should not post online, or at least the things I don't post online. So you might disagree, or you might have your own list. And I also would love to hear anything I don't mention or what's most important to you in the comments. So if you hear something that resonates or that I didn't mention, make sure and leave a comment and let me know that. Okay, let's move on to number 1. I've got this right here. And some of these are obvious and some of these are not so obvious. Number 1, I don't share my personal phone number. Not because I don't necessarily need or want people. It's not really a safety reason. I just don't really think that everyone needs direct access to me for texting and calling. So instead, what I did for my business when I had a yoga studio is I got a Google Voice number. And if you have a Gmail account, you can set up a free Google Voice number, and it's a different number than your personal cell phone number, and you can actually forward it to your phone. So that's what I ended up doing. So now that I don't have my yoga studio any longer, with that number not being something I really need people to reach me with, I can just simply go and deactivate it or ignore the phone calls, which I often do. So Google Voice number has been really great because I don't share my personal phone number. That's number 1. And number 2 is also kind of an obvious one, but something a lot of us don't think about because we don't think that maybe we're going to grow a large audience or people are going to find us online. And maybe that's true. But the second one is my physical address, where I am located. Yes, I know when I owned a yoga studio, you're going to know the physical address of the yoga studio. You're going to know my business location, but you're not going to know where I live, my house location. With some research, I'm sure you could find that, but I'm not going to just blast it out to the world and say, here I am, come find me, especially being someone who lives on my own. And I live with my son, my 3-year-old, which I'll get to in a moment. There are a few things I don't share regarding him, but for the most part, I don't share my address. So if people send me packages or want to send me letters, I got a P.O. box. So my P.O. box is my business address. So if someone wants to send me something or deliver something, even if it's someone I know, I will usually just share my P.O. box instead of my house number or apartment number or wherever I live. Okay, makes sense? I'm not going to share my address. I don't want people randomly walking up to my house, and that's anxiety inducing. Have you ever had someone knock on your door just to say hi? Let's not do that. So I keep my home life kind of behind closed doors, at least my address. And the third one actually goes along with not sharing my address. And the third thing I don't share on social media is the front of my house or any telltale signs of where I live in my town. Because my town is quite small, I don't live in a big city, it would be kind of easy to figure out where I lived once again. So just to keep myself safe in case of I don't know what in case of something, I don't share the front of my house, the front of my apartment building, my front yard. I might share like very minor things, but you still can't really tell. I do share posts sometimes looking out my window, and that would be a stretch to try to figure out where that was. But for the most part, I don't share the front of my house or apartment building because I don't want to share any numbers or my address. So simple as that. Something to consider. Like I said, I do have a P.O. box and I think I pay about $100 a year for it. Very much worth it. I don't get much mail to it, but it's important for me to have that so people can send me things. And I can also write my return address when I mail out things as my P.O. box. Make sense? Okay, cool. Number 4 is something that it's unique to me and might not apply to you, but I don't really share my relationship status. So I won't share with you if I'm dating anyone or if I am single completely or if it's complicated, whatever it is. In this stage of my life, I have told people, I'm a single mom, but I'm not going to talk about my dating life. I'm not going to talk about my relationships, at least not until when and if I'm engaged or in a very committed relationship or I'm married, but I'm not right now. And so that's not something that I'm going to share about for a couple reasons. Mostly it's privacy and just wanting to keep that as part of my personal life. And also it doesn't really apply to anyone else at this point. And another thing I'll get to is I don't share, let's just jump to that one, which is actually number 8, but we'll call it number 5. I don't share things I'm going through in the moment. If it's a struggle or if it's, like I said, if it's someone I'm dating or seeing, I'm not going to share it in the moment until I've passed that stage, until I've passed that difficulty, until I've overcome whatever it was I was struggling with. So I don't typically share problems in the moment. I won't be crying in the moment or venting or frustrated with something. That's something that I save for my therapist. So I have a therapist and it's through an app called BetterHelp. I know they sponsor a lot of YouTube videos. This isn't sponsored at all, but I did sign up for BetterHelp, HELP, and I was matched with a therapist who I really, really like. And every single week I get to talk to her. We do a voice chat on my phone, or I can message her whenever I need to. And that's where I air out all my frustrations. I talk about relationship drama. I talk about my family, my frustrations, my problems, all that stuff. So I keep that off of social media and I save it for my therapist, or I save it for my journal or something else until I've overcome it. I will share things after the fact. So, for example, I'm going to share with you how much of a struggle it was moving across the country, getting pregnant a month after meeting someone, or 2 months, just really quickly. And I had a really, really tough year in 2018. And I'm now at the point, almost 4 years later, pretty much 4 years later, to share that experience. But it took time and I had to come to terms with what actually had happened and process a lot of that. So I'll share things after the fact so that I can be there as a support, but I'm not going to share, once again, in the moment when I'm going through things. So that was 4 and 5. I don't share relationship status or personal problems in the moment. And number 5 or 6 kind of goes back to the address type of thing. When I post to Instagram stories specifically, because a lot of times they're in the moment, I don't share where I am in the exact moment, unless I'm at home. If I'm at home, it's fine. But the example I share is I do post about my son and I going to the YMCA and going swimming, and we have a lot of fun. So I'll do a little story shot on us going swimming or walking into the YMCA. Those are always posted after we leave. So they're not actually my exact location in the moment. And same with if we're at a playground or if we're somewhere out together, me and my son, or if it's me by myself, I'm not necessarily going to share in the moment. Some exceptions would be like at a coffee shop, or if I'm somewhere really public, I might share that, but even then I'm a little bit leery sometimes. And another reason I don't like sharing in the moment is it takes me out of the moment. So I'm fine taking pictures and quick videos, but if I want to write captions, I actually have to pause and start to type a little bit. And if I'm with my toddler, he doesn't like that. I don't like that. It takes me out of the moment. So I'll snap a few pictures, I'll take a few quick videos, but I'll post them afterwards. So I don't share where I am exactly. And number 7 is when I don't share when I'm going on vacation or if I'm going somewhere away from home. Now, this is a little iffy just because I don't share my address. No one really knows where I live. No one's going to come into my house and break into my house. And if they did, I mean, if you want to take my computer, like take some essential oils, great, good for you. I don't have anything that someone can really take that's of much value. But for the most part, I don't share, and I try not to share when I'm leaving to go on a vacation or leaving my home for safety of my home, but also that it goes back to sharing my exact location. So unless it's a very public place, if I'm on vacation, and again, takes me out of the moment, I don't need people to know that. Same thing when, for example, I went to Salt Lake City to a conference for doTERRA, so essential oils, and I took a bunch of pictures, but I didn't post anything until after I got home. And again, personal preference, it was just something that I wanted to wait for. Most people don't need to know everything you're doing in the moment. They can wait a week, they can wait a couple weeks, they could wait a month. You can use post photos and images from years ago to continue to help build your brand, your business, your online presence, and no one would really even realize it unless you had a different haircut or something really different about you. But even then, no one's paying that much attention. So you don't have to share in the moment. Okay, number 8 kind of goes with personal problems, but this isn't personal. This is family drama or family announcements that are not mine to share. So number 8 is I don't share family announcements or family drama. I'll share when the person who is allowed to share shares it. For example, if someone has a baby and I visit them in the hospital and they haven't yet posted to social media, I won't post that to social media. I won't take a picture and say, congratulations, so-and-so, here's your baby for the world to see. I want to respect who is my family and my friends and allow them to share announcements. Another example of this is on the opposite side. This actually happened when my dad died about 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. And it was very sudden. And it was unexpected. So it was something that was we were all taken aback by it. And so it wasn't something I was jumping onto Facebook to share about. I had to process for a few days. And so did a lot of my family. So there wasn't any announcement about it. But I had a family member, more extended, who had posted the day or the day after he had died. And she said something like, I'll miss you, so-and-so, my dad's name, I'll miss you, I can't believe you're gone, something like that. And right away I was like, take that down. Like, that's not yours to share. And that's not something that I want people to find out through an extended family member or friend on social media, when it's something that's should be shared by a close friend or family first. So eventually we did make a post about it. I did share that, but it was a few days later. So I am not going to be on the other end announcing people's exciting or devastating any kind of announcement or drama in my family. It's not mine to share. I'm going to stay in my own lane and focus on myself. Okay. The next 2, was that number 8? Yes, it was number 8. The next 2 are more specific to if you're a parent or if you have kids. And it's my son Ezra. So number 9, things I don't share. The 9th thing is that I don't share the daycare that he goes to or the school that he's going to go to when he does go to school. For some people in a really small town, it's not a big deal because, or it's less of a big deal because there's only one. But for just, I don't know, for reasons that I just think it's inappropriate to share the school or the daycare that he goes to. So if someone asks me privately, sure, I can tell them if they're wondering about a recommendation about a specific daycare, but I'm not going to share pictures, addresses, like pictures of the building or the address or the name of the school or the daycare he goes to. Now, when he's in school, it's a little bit different, but right now with daycare, I'm a little hesitant to share about where he goes. And also, people don't need to know that. You don't need to know the daycare he goes to. You don't need that information. And the last thing I don't share, because I am more of single mom life, right? My son has family that are not my family specifically. He even has a sibling, which is awesome. And I love that he has a sibling, and I love that he gets to see them as, as much as he sees his dad. But I'm not ever going to show you that or share about that. And you won't see photos, you won't see information on that because it's not my place to share. So anything with family or children specifically, that's not something that I will post without permission. And at this point, there's no reason that people need to know everything and everything going on with my son and my life. And now I do share a lot. And that was the 10 things I don't share. I'm sure there's a couple more. If you can think of any more, make sure to leave a comment so that we can build a little list or resource list of things that just to think about when you are posting to social media. I want everybody to think and believe that you are going to grow really large on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever it is that you are trying to build an audience, whether it be for yoga teaching or building some other kind of business, or you want to be an influencer, whatever it is. Just imagine and know that you are going to have a big audience one day. And so even now, as you still have a smaller following, smaller friends list, you can start to implement some of these safety measures just to ensure your own peace of mind and your own safety. Okay? And yes, people can research all this stuff. People can ask personally, but we're not going to just publicly share everything with the world. Okay? Sound good? So leave any comments with anything else that you have on your list of things you do not share. And I know that I have so many resources and tips for what to share on social media, especially when it comes to being a yoga teacher, and more specifically, an online yoga teacher. If you are interested in those resources, they can be found all in my membership. So I have one place where you can go to learn business, teaching, tips on teaching, yoga sequencing, cueing, business building, online technology, and all sorts of things. I'll put all the links down below to that, like the link to join my membership, where if you want to learn what to post. But you can also check out more videos on my channel at any time. And just a quick little recap of these. Let's do that quick. Personal phone number, don't share it. Address, don't share it. Front of my house or any house numbers or telltale signs of where I live, don't share it. Relationship status, not shared. Family drama, family announcements, not shared. My exact location in the moment. When I'm on vacation or conferences, in the moment. Personal problems as my school or daycare that my children go to. And I don't share other kids or Ezra's other family when I don't have permission. That's all. I hope that was helpful for you. Again, leave a comment. What do you think? What was helpful for you? And make sure to check out some of my other videos on my channel and stay tuned for more. I can't wait to share even more fun tips and advice with you in the future.